The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to really talk about this fight. It's a fight that just got announced today as I'm shooting it. It'll be taking place next week here in Las Vegas on the Mikayla Mayer versus the Mikayla Mayer undercard at the Virgin Hotel. So I'm very excited for that card. You know, it features two fighters that I've been following for a long time. You know, I've been following both these fighters for 3 to 4 years at minimum. You know, so they're not fighters that I'm unfamiliar with. They're fighters that I've had a chance to watch the progression of their careers. And that fight is between Luis Melendez and Thomas Mattice, and I believe this fight was announced as the co-main event on that card. So a really good fight at 130. You know, it's two fighters with a lot to prove. It's two fighters that have taken a loss in their careers, but it's also two fighters that will give fans an exciting fight. I've seen both these guys give fans exciting fights, whether it be on TV or watching them at the arena. So for those of you who are not really familiar with Melendez and Mattice, let me tell you why you should watch this fight, and let me tell you why you should pay attention, because it really is a good one. So we'll start with Luis Melendez. Now, this is a fighter, Luis Melendez, who I'm very familiar with. You know, I've been following and knowing Luis since his Golden Glove days, back when I seen him win the Florida Golden Gloves back in 2018. In fact, there's even a video here on this channel of Luis Melendez fighting in the Golden Gloves. He fought a kid named Anthony Crespo when he was very young at that time, and now he's since that fight. He's matured, and I really feel like he's maturing into a really confident, really sharp, really just good professional fighter with a high ceiling, with a lot of potential, and he's got it all. To me, when we talk about young Puerto Rican fighters, to me, he's the one that I think in terms of skills is right up there, but nobody's talking about him because he's not like with the big promoter. He's not one to run his mouth on social media. He doesn't got like the celebrities following him like Edgar Berlanga or anything like that, and he doesn't have the pretty undefeated record, you know. But I think if we're talking about skills, I think he's one of the most talented Puerto Rican fighters out there, and that's Luis Melendez. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got fundamentals, angles, counterpunching, confidence. He fights with a big imagination. Only question is, can he put it together under the lights? And he's going to get his chance to answer that question in a great and major way on TV, on ESPN, at the Virgin Hotel, on Top Rank Boxing, against a good fighter in Thomas Mattice. And now look, we know Mattice, he's an Ohio fighter, and we know that Ohio fighters are tough. You know, shout out to my main man, Marcus Nall, Ohio Runs Boxing. Thomas Mattice is a fighter that I've been following for a number of years now. And I remember, for me, he first burst onto the scene a couple years ago when he was on Showbox. He had that really exciting fight with Rolando Chinilla, you know, a tough pressure fighter. Had to really dig deep and show a lot of grit and determination in that fight to get the win, and he did. He showed me a lot of character in that fight. And then since then, you know, he hasn't had the best of luck. He's lost to Will Madera, and he's lost to Isaac Cruz, you know. So he's been on the wrong end of losing to some names in the division, but he's not a bad fighter, and he's someone that, with the win over here against a young talented fighter in Melendez, I think Mattice is putting himself in line for a big fight. So these are two fighters that have taken losses. These are two fighters that desperately need this win, and the best thing you can get in boxing is two fighters who have a lot of desperation. Their career, they don't want this win. They're not hoping to get this win. They need this win if they want to make money, and if they want to take their families to the next level, if they want to position themselves better in life, they need to win this fight. And I love this fight. Now, Mattice is 31 years old. Melendez is about 24, 25. So Mattice is coming in as the older, more seasoned. Well, maybe not more seasoned, but the older fighter. I wouldn't say he's more seasoned because Melendez had a lot of amateur fights. Melendez has been getting a lot of good sparring in South Florida. So maybe in terms of amateur pedigree and things like that, you know, because they got around the same amount of fights in the pros. Melendez is 16-1, Mattice is like 17-1-2, I think. I think Melendez might have more amateur fights, but like, Mattice has been more tested. Melendez hasn't really fought a guy at the Mattice level yet. You know, he's been staying busy. He's fought like 4, 5, 6 times since December of last year. He's been going to Colombia a lot, to fight and pad that and get that record. You know, get some wins on that record. But he hasn't been at this level with Mattice yet. So, you know, they say pressure makes diamonds, and for me, I really feel like this is Luis Melendez. If he fights to his best of his abilities, it could be his coming out party, and it could be a case where it's sink or swim. You know, pressure makes diamonds, and I really feel like, you know, if you're looking for fighters at 130, right now Shakur Stevenson is the man at 130. We don't know how long he's going to be there, right? So whether he stays there or whether he leaves, if you're looking for somebody that's going to be that has potential to do something at 130, gracias. If you're looking for somebody that has potential to do something at 130, I think Melendez is somebody that you should look at because, like I said, he has the combination of speed, power, counter-punching, imagination, just everything you'd want in a fighter. Just everything you'd want, all the skills you'd want in a fighter. But those skills and that chin and his durability are going to be tested. Because let me tell you this, come hell or high water, Thomas Mattice is coming to fight. Thomas Mattice is coming very hungry. Thomas Mattice is coming to knock Lewis's head off. And it's up to Lewis to stay composed, to counterpunch, to be right there in the pocket, to be composed, to make him miss and make him pay. And that's the intriguing part about this fight. You got one guy who I think Lewis of the two is the more talented fighter. I think he's got more tools in the toolbox. But Mattice has proven in his career, whether it be in the Rolando Chania fight or even in his losses, he's proven himself many times that, hey, he's going to be in these fights and he's going to be someone to deal with come hell or high water. So, great fight. If I'm telling y'all this, I know next week the talk is going to be all about Canelo versus Plant, and it should be. It really should be. But if there's one fight next week I really feel like you guys need to pay attention to on any undercard, on any show, it's got to be this fight. It's got to be this fight. Because you got two hungry fighters that can't afford to lose. They can't. And, I'll be honest with you. I know Lewis, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm unbiased because I've seen him spar and I know more about him than Mattice, even though I know probably more about Mattice than most people because I watched him on Showbox, I've watched his fights with Madera, I've watched his fight with Cruz. He's very, very good. But I really think this fight is about how will Luis Melendez perform. If he performs at his best, I truthfully believe he'll win the fight. And I truthfully believe the world will be put on notice that Luis Melendez is one of the, a fighter that's going to be a factor at 130. Just like another fighter I told you about at 130, Otar Aranosian, also from South Florida, ranked already, a really aggressive fighter. I feel like add Lewis's name to the mix. And there's always fighters coming up in boxing. The great thing about boxing is like, whenever you think a guy is going to rule the division or there's a guy that looks unbeatable, there's always someone around that corner that's coming for his spot. And Luis Melendez and Thomas Mattice, these are the kind of guys that are around that corner that are coming for people's spots. So definitely tune into this fight. Should be a good one. If I had to make a prediction off top, I'll be honest with you, I think it'll be a good fight. I think Mattice will push Lewis, particularly in the early rounds. I think he'll be hungry to prove a point and test the conditioning, test the chin, test the quality of Luis Melendez. But I think based on what I've seen and based on the maturity that I've seen from Melendez, I think Lewis got too many tools for Thomas Mattice. And I got Luis Melendez winning a tough UD. I think he might go through some adversity early in the fight, but I think the talent, the skills, the composure, the power, the speed, the variation of the speed, the changing of the speed, because Luis Melendez is getting really good at changing the speed of his punches. I think these are the differences in the fight, and I'm gonna go with Luis Melendez by UD in a very impressive performance where he shows toughness, grit, tenacity, and I got Luis Melendez making an impression on the boxing world and the boxing fans as somebody to be reckoned with at 130. So I'm gonna leave it at that. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.